All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here, and today we are going to take a side-by-side comparison look and kind of a long-term look at the Black Bay 36. This was my wife's Christmas present back at this last Christmas in December. And then this is my Black Bay 41 that I've had for over 5 years, I do believe now. It was out of my possession for maybe around a year, and then I ended up getting it back from the people I traded it into. So anyways, these are the two references. The blue one on this side, on the left side, is the 59, or excuse me, the 79540, and this is an older model. You can tell with the smiley face dial. So this is running a price slightly modified ETA 2824, ETA 2824 movement, classic movement, 38 hours power reserve basically. And particularly this watch in my collection, it's not COSC certified or anything like that, but it has been one of the best running watches that I own in my collection, even though it was out of my possession for quite a while. The one on the right-hand side, this is the 79640, so it's the newer model in 36 millimeter, as you can tell, has the Jubilee bracelet on it now as compared to the Oyster bracelet of the past. And this one is running the MT5400, which is a certified chronometer movement, officially certified. I do believe that Tudor and Breitling kind of came together in the development of this, being Tudor's first real in-house movements. And they've been very popular and a very good movement from what I know of them so far. So taking a quick look at the two watches together, I just want to bring them up here side by side. You guys can tell right away the differences in the dial is going to be that logo down there at the 6 o'clock position. On the right-hand side, we have the official certification, or chronometer officially certified, Swiss made, just below the 6 o'clock. And on the left hand side we have the classic old smiley face dial, as they call it, with the rotor and the self-winding being that smiley face down there at the bottom. Everything else on these watches as far as the dial goes is pretty much the same. You have your white gold indices and handset on this watch. And they look very, very similar. Now, it's interesting because I remember that when the first Black Bay in this series that came out was the 36 millimeter, soon to be followed by the 41. People wanted bigger watch at the time. I prefer the 41 millimeter case. I'll do a wrist shot of both of these on my 7-inch wrist before we go out, obviously. But both really incredible watches. I do believe they use the same size indice plot on there. So even though the 41 has a larger dial, it does have the same indices, I do believe, as the 36, or at least that was the in the past historically. So for some, they might say that the 36 has too big indices. For some, they might say the 41 has too small of indices, but is what it is. So obviously the bracelet is different. You have the Jubilee on the right-hand side, which is absolutely wonderful, beautiful. My wife is a huge fan of this bracelet. And then the Oyster, on the left-hand side, which is classic. As far as the clasp assembly goes, now I want to show you guys this. My wife wears her watches. So she got this at Christmas, and she does work at a desk quite a bit. So you can see that this watch has quite a bit of desk scuffing to it. I thought mine was kind of rough, but I've had this one for 5 years. But boy, I think it's just because that's polished there, and that makes a big difference. Now, one of the things I want to show you on the newer one, now inside you have and I will tell you that as far as clasp assemblies go, I've owned Rolex, I own Rolexes, and I do believe that Tudor does it better. These ceramic bearings they use in here, the way everything just smoothly goes together, it's like butter. And what's really cool with this watch, it has, I think they call this the T-glide or T-clasp assembly, so you can actually pull this down, and look at that. You have quite a bit of movement there. So I pulled it all the way out so that I can get this on my wrist. My wife has a tiny wrist. One of the other things I really want to talk about in this newer model is the case refinement. Now, the older models, I'm going to just call them kind of more of that slab style case side design. And it was so with the 36 millimeter also. You can see that they've really contoured these newer models, the 79640 line, to be more in line with what I feel is more of your Oyster case. I owned a 124-300 green dial a number of years back. As a matter of fact, when I sold that's when I bought this watch back, because I like this one better. But anyways, I do feel like this is more in line with the Rolex OP style case design. Beautiful chamfers on this case side. And then the reduction of the crown. Big difference here. You see the crown tube on the older model, it had that alloy crown tube there, and black in contrast with the blue dial. A lot of people didn't like that. I'm a fan of it. I think it's cool. And they did bring the crown down quite a bit. No crown tube there sticking out, so you have a much smaller, much more refined crown, which I think, especially on these 36 millimeter models, is really, really a nice touch on the watch. Really good overall. So, it's really what you prefer. I will not get rid of this one. This is one of my favorite watches in the collection, my Black Bay 41 blue. Cool, great Dodgers baseball game watch, but I really like it all the way around. Some people will prefer the more refined case style and everything like that of the newer models, and I think there's something to be had in both of the watches. But let's go ahead and pause it for a second, get each of these on my 7-inch wrist, and we'll go out with the Lume shot. Give me just a second here, folks. Okay, so I can't buckle the clasp. This is the 36 on my 7-inch wrist, and by no means do I think this watch looks too small on my 7-inch wrist. If you have a smaller than 7-inch wrist, I think this watch is probably going to fit you very, very nicely. It's a great looking timepiece. It looks good on my wife's wrist. She has like under a 6-inch wrist, I do believe, and it doesn't look too big. It looks really good. I know they make a 31 version out there, but she really likes the way this watch looks on her wrist. Let's go ahead and throw the 41 on my wrist for comparison. All right, and here is the 41, as you guys can tell, just a more substantial watch on my 7-inch wrist. I love this watch. Like I said, I'm not gonna get a little dust off that dial there. I'm not gonna get rid of this one in the collection. I do love it. I've been rocking the 16600 today, but I may just leave the 79540 on after the video. But let's go ahead and get the lights dimmed and get some light on these dials and check out the Lume. So both of these watches have really, really good Lume on them. I know the lights aren't totally out in the room here, but it is what it is. My camera does not participate well that way, but that gives you a great idea, guys. And that's going to glow like that all night long on both of the watches. And check this out. Like I said, this one's like 5 years old and it's still glowing like a torch. Awesome, awesome Lume on Tudor watches. I've never had a complaint like that. One of the things I did want to mention is this model, the 41, is 150 meters of water resistance in this older, I don't know if it's the crown style or anything like that. The newer models, the 79640s are all 100 meters of water resistance. So if that makes a difference to you, that 50 meters of water resistance, then you might want to find one of the older models that are 150 meters water resistance. But other than that, awesome, awesome watches. You can't go wrong. You can find these new on the Tudor website. They're going for right at $4,000, I think $50. On the pre-owned market, you can find these right around $2,000, which is a great deal. I did source this one through Milspec Watch Group, who does have access to certain luxury watches, which is awesome. I don't remember. I think I maybe got this one off Joma's shop years ago. But if you are looking for something, you can drop a line to Milspec Watch Group on their website and see if they have any luxury watches that you're looking for that aren't on their website, but they have access to. So, all right, guys, that's the video of the Tudor Black Bay 41 and 36 millimeter comparison, new versus the older one. And my wife's Christmas present, which she loves this watch. So, all right, guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. And if you've not subscribed to the OFD channel yet, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.